Okay, welcome back. People's
It
power.
seems like it's been forever.
Power
Right?
to the people. It has been a while. We've been a few months, I think. So, welcome everybody to the podcast today. We are going to talk about what we've been working on and what we've been learning more about. Back in the day, we did a lot of leasing. We did less people buying the system, but now with interest rates so high, we've been kind of exploring different options for people to, because most people that want to talk about solar with us, they do it because they want to save money. Unfortunately, with the loans, the interest rates are so high that it's kind of like a break-even proposition and kind of a more of a longer-term investment for them. So we've been exploring also batteries, adding batteries to our systems. Arizona is not on a net metering anymore. There are a few places around the country that are. All net metering means is whatever you produce, the utility gives you equal value for it if you overproduce. The nice part now with net billing, they give you less. And it's almost like if I gave the utility $1, they're giving me 30 cents back or less for the extra energy I produce. So if you're producing power, why not? You're producing your own power. Why sell it back to the utility company if they're giving you pennies on the dollar? Why not actually bank the energy that you produce by adding a Powerwall? And we're using the Tesla Powerwall 3. So I'll as I'm getting the presentation ready on the other side, I'm going to have you guys talk about really how to build the systems correctly. What if they want to go just solar alone? They don't want a battery. Do they expect to have bills? What if they add a battery? How many batteries do they need? So forth.
Kevin, you want me to go ahead and take that one?
Please, so you can go ahead and start with that, and then I'll chime in.
So it used to be like with a lot of the utilities before, obviously net billing, and it was net metering. You were just able really to build a system based on their what they use for energy, so like pretty much 100%. And then what's happened was when they went to a net billing format, then we started, okay, well then let's oversize the system. So in other words, if you're using X amount of energy, we're going to build that system 25 to 30% larger in energy use, because when you send that energy back, it's going to go back at a cheaper rate. In other words, they're going to buy it less. So if we oversize, right, it's still kind of going to be equal. But what has happened in the last few years is the Corporate Commission has allowed these utility companies to take that export rate and reduce it by 10% every year, right? So as it keeps reducing and as rates of a utility keep raising up, what's happening is really that proposition of building a larger system is not really a good proposition for the homeowner. So really the best way to explain it now is let's say if you go, I want solar only, right? And you're going to build that system, realize, okay, I'm solar only. I'm going to be solar during the day. And at nighttime, I'm buying my energy from the utility company, right? So it makes no sense really to build those systems even at 100% anymore, because it's not going to produce 100% of your energy at a solar only type of system, right? So when you build a system, maybe, 75 to 85% roughly of what your usage is, that's more of a more realistic number now. System cost comes down, it's not as much, but then you are buying your energy at night and then you're powering the house during the day. So that's kind of how that works.
And what's really nice about that is that so you don't have to buy this energy now at 100%, because 100% of your power isn't being used when the sun is up. People don't realize that. People realize, this is solar power. This is not lunar power, even though the sun was really bright last night. Yeah, no, it's solar. So we want to make sure that we're not sending as much back to the utility at a lower cost. It doesn't make sense to buy it for $1 and only get 30 cents back, on that, even though that solar is good. Now, 75 to 85%, that's great because you want to lock in as much as you can so that you don't have to worry about the adjustments in inflation, rising rates, and all that kind of stuff. I would much rather have 100 or 75%, 85% of a locked-in rate, a fixed cost, rather than 100% of that's fluctuating and that keeps continuing to climb. So, really, really good ideas, and it's been really working out very well for us.
Yeah, and
So
I want to add one more thing to that. So when I say 75 to 85% of the power, and maybe you're out there, you're thinking, well, why would you build it if it's 50-50, right? So 50% the sun's out, 50% the sun is not out, right? Well, the reason why you build it a little larger is because when you talk about summertime, especially in the Southwest, now every regions might be a little different, but in the Southwest, when summer comes, it gets really hot, and technically you're going to be using more power during the day. So so technically, really now you're actually oversizing the system still at that 75 to 85%, but you're preparing yourself for those summertime bills.
awesome. So let's say if I don't want to pay the utility, I don't really want to pay the utility that much. I want to try to get to break even. And so this is really good for the homeowners to know. So if they look at their utility bill, on the front of the utility bill, most people don't know how to read it. But if you just add up the kilowatt hours, those bar graphs that you get every single month, just add them up, look to the left, and add up the kilowatt hours that you use in a year. Let's say if I use 12,000 kilowatt hours a year, and I don't want to pay the utility very much. I would like to go solar, but the extra energy that I produce, I would like to add a battery, a Tesla Powerwall. Rule of thumb, everyone, if you use around 10 to 13,000 kilowatt hours a year, you'll need one Tesla Powerwall. You want to build it to around 100%. You'll bank, like Ken and Kevin said, you'll bank 50% of your energy that you produce. And at nighttime, you'll be able to pull the power that you actually produce. So it'll be your power. And if you use 20,000 kilowatt hours, you'll need two. If you use 30,000 kilowatt hours, you'll need three. So it's very simple. Now, power walls, they're not exactly inexpensive, but they can be, and solar systems aren't exactly inexpensive either, but they can be for the homeowner. If they want to save money per month, they can do what they call a lease. Now, the reason why we're promoting the lease is because interest rates are high. If you do choose to buy your solar with a zero down low, you get to choose your interest rate. Obviously, if you choose a lower interest rate, the bank charges you more on the total cost. If you choose a higher interest rate, they choose a lower cost. But you can now choose, in a lot of areas around the country, you can lease your system. That means that you have no debt, no loan, and you simply have a payment. And you can add batteries to the lease, the solar lease, which is really cool. Now, typical manufacturer's warranty on a battery is about 10 years. However, with the leasing company, the leasing agreement is they basically give you the material and the battery for 25 years. That's the only catch. So basically, instead of buying your power from the utility company, you produce your own power, bank it with the energy, the storage, the Tesla Powerwalls, and you can do so at a cheaper rate. Now, I want to show you guys something. See if I can.
Now, when we're just pulling that up, people go, "Well, leasing's bad. Leasing's this." So, and I don't want to lease. I love that because what you're doing right now is a lease. So, when you don't want to lease, you have no real option right now. We're giving you these options of doing it at a lower cost and more beneficial to yourself rather than in paying you first, putting more money in your pocket rather than putting it into somebody else's pocket. So you can lease from the utility, or you can lease from a third party at a lower cost. So there's something there. Go ahead, Jeff.
I know that you can't really see it on the screen, but you're just going to have to, I did put the link in the comments as well, so you can look at it. This is Arizona. So it goes up to about 2024, the way I have it. I'm sure I can do it. I'm not going to do it right now, but in 2024 is 15 cents. What is the average rate people are paying in Arizona right now, guys?
17 cents, 18 cents.
17 cents. So we've been getting people into a lease program paying around 9 cents a kilowatt hour. That's like going back in time to about 2008. That's incredible. So basically, I can get people immediate savings on their energy that they're using at a much cheaper rate, the rate that it was years ago. Do you guys want to touch upon that a little further?
Yeah. So one of the things, like Jeff, what you're saying is we can turn the clock back, and there's not too many times that you can turn the clock back. If you looked at gas prices when they were $1.50 a gallon, at that point in time, if you were able to go to that gas company and say, you know what, I want to go ahead and lock in that price for the next 20 or 30 years, what do you think they would tell you? They would say, absolutely not. I'm not going to lock it in. So really, this is the only utility that you can sit there and actually you dictate the price, you lock in the price, and you're protected for years and years and years of what you're going to spend on your energy, and you know what you're going to spend.
Yeah, and what's really nice is that when it's locked in like that, and people think that solar is expensive, that do the math on what you're currently doing on your current numbers. Look at your own utility bill right now, and do the math on let's say 20 years, and how much you're going to spend based on average numbers, just by this website alone, which is a government site. Tracking utility rates and inflation and stuff. You'll be amazed at how cheap solar is. I don't ever like to use the word cheap, but I'm trying to make a point here that people think it's expensive, and it could be, but it is not in comparison to what you're currently doing right now today, or your last payment that you made to your utility company. There is another option. We do have that option for you to explore, open your mind a little bit, and understand that the sun is out there powering everything else, and now it can power your home as well.
So if you click on that link that Jeff put in the comments, and that's actually, just so you all know, that's a government website. That is not just some pie in the sky numbers made up. This is true data from the government, right? But you can physically change that into a percentage, and this is Arizona Utilities. And if you change that into percentage, I don't have the chart in front of me, but I want to say from 2001 to current, I want to say it's anywhere from 117% to 121% increase in your rates. Now, if they're going
121% in 2024.
So if the utility is allowed to do this to you, and you actually now have a choice of being able to turn back time, why wouldn't you look at this option? I mean, this is an amazing option. And not only that, let's say, because most people aren't going to be in your house probably 15, 20 years. Most people move, and we get it, and most people sell. But how attractive is that? What are the rates going to be at the utility in 5, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, right? And you can be at under 10 cents per unit of energy. Who knows what the utilities are? I mean, Hawaii right now, obviously it's an island, but I want to say they're over 40 cents. California's in the 30 cents range. Just know Arizona and other states are going to follow suit. They're going to do this. They're going to raise your rates.
So another thing too is every October they lower their export rate. Whatever you produce, your solar produces, they lower it up to 10%. So obviously, if you're the utility company, you're going to try to max it out, right? So, and let's say, hypothetically they lower it to 0%. So basically, they're not going to give you anything for the excess power that your system produces. That's fine. Go ahead. We want that. Because all we have to do is add a power wall. Use 10,000 kilowatt hours, we'll add 1. 20,000, we'll add 2. You don't want to buy it, you don't want to invest the money, no problem. Yeah, you can lease it, lock in your payment for the next 25 years. So, I mean, it's really figured out how to work the system a little bit in the favor of the homeowner, which is awesome. Because the utility is trying to work us over big time, and they're not making it fair for the homeowner. Quite frankly, we've said it so many times back in the even a few years ago. We think batteries are the future. You produce your own power, you bank your excess, you pull it at night. It's really that simple. And then the added benefit is, if you start losing power, Arizona starts becoming more like California with rolling blackouts and brownouts. No problem. You'll have batteries. In fact, I've been told that, Kevin, I know you have 2 power walls. I've been told that you don't even, as soon as people don't even know you lose power, the people that have power walls.
No, not at all. So it's instantaneous. The only way I actually really know is I have a very finicky internet connection. My internet connection will reset. But I don't know about the lights, or if I have music or TV in the house, nothing like that. You never even notice it. And then people are texting me, neighbors are texting me going, "Hey, did the power go out? Is it just me, or is it the whole neighborhood?" I'm like, I don't know. I'm still up and running however I wanted to be. But the nice thing is that there's 3 different options for you to see what's best for you. Obviously you can pay cash with the initial investment. It's always lower when you're removing the middleman, banks, financing companies. There's ownership if you'd like to do that, or there's and that's financing, or the leasing option. And the leasing option, like Jeff was saying, there's no debt to income. There's nothing on your credit as far as a debt on there. And with interest rates being so high currently, it's something you don't have to worry about. You get to lock in that payment. There's the formulas. That's what we do. That's when you call us and we sit down one-on-one, because everybody's situation is going to be different. Everybody's ideas are going to be different. Maybe what they want to accomplish will be different. Maybe you don't want a battery. Maybe you want 2. Maybe you want to expand it. Whatever. And that's what we're here for. But leasing has come back, and it's amazing, because like if you move, people say if you sell the home, you can't transfer it over. Well, it's just like your utility company. They have to call. They have to give you your social security number. You have to qualify with the utility company and get it transferred over. Same thing with anything else. You just need to have the right.
Yeah, I mean, I had that. I did a presentation yesterday with a solar. Used about 12,000 kilowatt hours. Added it at a power wall. Pretty much got him to a net zero bill. And he's like, well, just give me the objections. So I know that it's. He's like, because I'm sold. He's like, but I got to talk to my wife, and his wife is not sold yet. And I said, well, I go, what are the downfalls? I mean, let's say if you sell the house or you move, the person doesn't want it. I said to him, I used the pool analogy. I mean, if my family was shopping for a house, and one of the things that we wanted to have was a pool, would we be looking at houses that didn't have pools? No.
Probably not.
So, and I said, can you imagine, his name is Hal. I said, can you imagine, Hal? I go, let's say if you do sell this house 5 or 10 years, you're in a 9 cents a kilowatt hour. And like Kevin and Ken said, like you could be paying 25 cents a kilowatt hour at that time. And when you're on the piece of paper the realtor gives you, whatever that is, they say the disclaimer says it comes with a solar system with a Tesla Powerwall. I mean, most people think that the battery technology is the future, and I walk into a house that's literally self-sufficient, I mean, that is so good. I go, that is going to be so awesome. He goes, well, does it add value to the home? I go, value is a perception, correct? I go, maybe not financially, but think about the emotional part of that as well. I mean, like, I can walk in here, like I said, a self-sufficient home where the system produces my power. I beg my extra energy. I get to use it. Oh, by the way, we've been losing power more often. I have power when the neighbors don't. You tell me.
And doing the lease, and this is only with certain companies, right? Not every company does this, but the one that we use, doing that lease with a battery, they're warranting that battery for 25 years, right? I mean, you can't beat it. You will have that house will probably have a second battery, and with new latest greatest technology installed sometime 25 years in that lease.
Yeah, it's all
Is it
warranty, it's
so?
all covered.
Yeah, I was going to say that, Kevin. What if my system takes a crap? What happens then?
Yep. With the lease, with the one that we're using to benefit the homeowner, to benefit your families, everything is covered for 25 years on there. And the battery, I think there's a small charge to get for labor to put it in and out, but it's a pennies on the dollar in comparison to not only the convenience and what solar has to offer.
Yeah, not only that is when we talk about the batteries and we talk about battery technology, let's say in 10 years or 15 years, you need an upgraded battery in the system. Do you think they're going to use old technology or new technology? So, 10, 15 years from now, the battery technology is probably going to be way better than today, just like cars, just like solar systems, just like anything, right? I mean, everything improves, but you gotta get in the game first. You gotta get solar and start taking control of your energy and your costs, and stop relying on the utility company to decide what you pay. As Kevin always says, is the meter on the side of your house. They don't call it an energy meter. What do they call it, Kevin?
The revenue meter.
Yeah, revenue meter. And that's coming straight from the utility company. You never hear the utility company saying that in front of you, but that's exactly what they call it. So let's turn that revenue meter off and let's get your own power.
Now, I can also say battery, technology, what Ken just said. Technology it's a funny thing with solar. It isn't like when you buy a new iPhone or a new TV and it's that much clearer or crisper or something like that. I have Tesla Powerwall 2s. It's the old technology. And the Powerwall 3 has some amazing features, that I don't have. But the capacity is the same. So it hasn't, as far as leaps and bounds, there's just a new switch. There's a little bit more here and a little bit more there. I'm still very, very happy with my Powerwall 2s in comparison to the new Powerwall 3s are out. And 10, 15 years when there'll be a Powerwall 10, kind of like a cell phone, the capacities will still be the same. The size has to be a certain standard. Doorways have been the same doorway, for 500 years, and they're all made of wood still, or a few different materials, but they look like wood. So it's not like you're buying something today that will be outdated in 10 years. So there's no need to wait for that. The only time you're waiting is you're spending money that you don't need to spend for energy when you could be spending that for yourself, your family, or whatever you need to in other areas. So energy finally has a solution. It does not have to be a monopoly. You can save money with that. The school, here's a famous line that I like to use. I'll use it a lot. The schools, the churches, airports, city buildings and all that, they all have solar power. And it's not because they have a ton of money they need to spend. It's because they're looking to save money. And they don't tear down the old stuff. They just put in new stuff when their needs change. So solar panels have 25-year warranties. That doesn't mean that everything is dead in 26 years. It does have a long lifespan, depending on the areas, of course, that you're in. But get into solar now is amazing. Start saving now find the plan that works for you now, because you'll only benefit from that in the future. Somebody that I hold a very in high respect says, do something today that your tomorrow self will thank you for. Solar could be one of those, and saving you money right now, today, that money that you could be using in the future, because the future we don't know about. Why not be prepared for it?
Yeah. So we would encourage you to reach out, get your say, you know what, I would be interested in learning about our numbers. If these guys say that they can go back in time 20 years with the rates, or 15 years for the rates, what they can do, I would be curious to know what my numbers are. So reach out to us. You can go to peoplespower.solar, put your contact information in, and we'll get back to you. We'll kind of go over it, show you how it works with the batteries. Thanks for listening, guys. Have a great weekend, rest of your week. Look forward to talking to you. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Great to see everybody.